the successful folks are the ones who, are humble enough to keep taking education. And John, you got some grays in your hair, I see. I think maybe I was too scared to admit that I didn't know something. But now in my career, I'm like, yeah, give it to me. I want to be the best. I love learning. Like I don't care what anyone thinks about me.
Hi everyone, I'm excited to be here today together with Brett Foreman, who is the co-owner of Pony Studios and Pony Education. Many of you will have heard about Pony Education, I'm sure, but if you haven't, so this business is on the one hand a salon business. So Brett is running a very successful salon out of Oakland, who's been awarded like the best salon in Oakland 3 years in a row. Best salon in East Bay, I think 3 years in a row, like since they were open, basically getting crazy reviews. Like if you check out their Google profile, it's actually insane how many like 5-star reviews. Have a great team and everything on the salon side. And then there's an education side to this where they offer both physical, offline, hands-on hairdresser education and also online. So there's a lot that we can unpack in this session today. And I would just love to dig into more of the like success drivers behind building what you have built here with Pony Studios and Education, and also just hear more about your education offering and all of that, which I know many people watching this will be super keen to learn more about. So Brett, thank you for being here.
Yeah, John, thanks for having me. Looking forward to digging into some of the stuff for sure.
Yes. So I hope my introduction to what Pony is was fair. Could you maybe like just give us a little bit more of like, what is Pony Education, Pony Studios with your words?
Yeah, so Pony Studios was incorporated in 2018. We opened 2019 early. It was my wife's dream to have a brick and mortar that can be a venue for her education business. And also we, to start, attracting some of her friends. We'll get into how talented she is, but at the end of the day, these businesses exist because of her, and she has all of my support because she's better at this than I'll be at anything. And I've said that before and I'll say it again. So, we've won these awards. We have a great education business, people flying from all over the US and over the world for our monthly hands-on razor education, some styling stuff too. And then of those classes, we stream monthly, and we have other on-demand education on our app, which is called Pony Education Live. I think we're going to touch on that too as sort of one of our keys to success too. Yeah,
totally. Let's unpack that. But like, how did this all start? Like, what did this come from?
Yeah. Well, I love to talk, but I don't love to talk for my wife. But she's at work. I'm in my shed. So Corinna is a unique individual. I think one reason is that if you ask, like if somebody were to say that they're modest, then they're kind of maybe not modest because they understand the definition of modesty and humility and being humble. And Corinna would never say that because I don't think it's part of the equation for her. That's just what she is. All she does is she just wants to give back, right? Her background is unique. She worked in the Santa Monica Sassoon Academy, right? Rowena Hiraga. She used to help us educate, and then she moved to Hawaii, and she's been around. But Corinna had this hardcore leader and mentor for years in the Sacramento area. She left there and started working at her friend Shannon's salon, and started bringing some of the Sassoon techniques and whatnot because she had this depth of Sassoon knowledge. Like hardcore, like go home and cry after a day of work. When education was great, right? No, you don't have to cry for good education. No,
No?
maybe you do. Maybe you do.
Yeah.
So after that, she became kind of obsessed with the Bumble and Bumble aesthetic in New York. She was a network educator, I think is what they call them. So she'd fly out, take classes, and then bring them back to the salon. Soon she, applied for a job in Manhattan at the Bumble and Bumble, I guess, salon, and sent 5 boxes there and moved there, dropped everything, right? Sold her her VW Cabriolet, I don't know what she had, her Jetta probably, and moved there, and then climbed the ranks and really just ate all this stuff up. I think the Sassoon training didn't hurt for sure, and loved the razor cutting. Was soon elevated to teach people who would come in to be network educators, and soon was elevated to an educator who every day for 6 years would fly around the Western US and lead Salon's education on behalf of Bumble. She did, like, Michael Gordon, the founder of Bumble. He was an advisor for pony education. He had her do his daughter's wedding hair. She's just exceptional at what she does. So long story short, pony is Corinna, but it also is me, because I think a lot of successful salons do have like an unpaid like partner intern, and I am the intern of that. And I come from a technical marketing background, and I sell technical software to large companies on the side. So I think that'll resonate with some people. Some of them have this crazy person in a shed, talking at cameras, who do some of the legwork. And I think we'll touch on some of what I'm able to kind of do. And I reluctantly speak for my wife in the last 5 minutes, but I'm happy to speak about, technology and, the other things that we'll kind of get into today too.
Yeah, so let's do that. And I can totally I agree with you. Like, I've worked with many salons as well, and very often when I see successful businesses, there is a boyfriend in a shed somewhere in the background. It happens quite often.
Yeah, boyfriend, girlfriend, any sort of friend, any sort of support. And like all small businesses, you need all the support you can get. And but the alternative to me being me is to spend a lot of money on a me, and that can't happen. So that's why small business owners are all crazy people, because they bring their work home. Yeah, they bring it back to the shed.
But let's dive into this now, because I think everybody wants to know, like, how did you build what you have built? Like, what would you say? Are there like a number of like success drivers, or call it whatever, right? Success factors.
Sure.
This is probably what we did that allowed us to build this education platform, this salon with all these crazy reviews and ratings that you're getting today.
Sure. Yeah. When you and I were prepping for this, I think 3 things that I'm comfortable talking about today is leadership that sets Pony apart from others, technology, and we'll talk about Mangomint too. That's part of the stack, the tech stack, as people in sheds call it. Yeah. And then education also has elevated, I think, our brand and our staff's capabilities and confidence and everything else.
Why don't we start with leadership then? Because I believe, obviously, Corinna here, who's like, is going to be part of it.
So Corinna is the super humble. She controls a room. She knows how to deal with people. She's an expert on the floor, but also in the office. She knows how to deliver hard, feedback, and she's really great at mentoring everyone with sort of the softer skills. She's also a talent magnet. So we have some amazing employees that have joined Pony because of Corinna and because of Pony, like a lead educator at a kind of a famous local salon. She's a lead educator there for 17 years, and she was a Sassoon Academy employee, and she would train the apprentices there too. This woman, Debbie, during the lockdown, she jumped after 17 years at this group of salons to join us. Michelle, our manager, she managed the Bumble in New York. And it just so happened that she could join us. The sort of the people who joined us from the onset, Eric and Hannah and all these sort of like not old school. We opened in 2019, but they're not old. I mean, Eric's old. So she's just a talent magnet. And we grew into 2 salons because people, are excited about joining Pony. Corinna, she's just committed to doing great hair and giving great client experiences. And another thing that I think our leadership shines is that we're not trying to make money. Like, we're not gouging people. But we kind of enable everyone involved to make money and to give their best work. So leadership, I think, is a unique, differentiator that we have. There's only one Corinna, there's only one Debbie, there's only one Michelle, and there's 1,000 of me, but those people really are the heart and soul of Pony, for sure.
I'm not saying like money needs to be it, and if it's not, then what is it? But like,
God, some people would say that money should be the driver, right? Like, why would you take work home every day tarnish your marriage deeply
Mm.
through just being stressed out. The driver is, I mean, it's our staff, it's our community. It's like, again, Corinna deserves this platform because she's so great at this. And you know, I think a lot of salons are challenged right now because of, you know, exceptional overhead costs, exceptional payroll taxes. You know, is it going to be, are we rental? Are we, you know, commission? What is commission? There's a lot of question marks. I think in the next year, there's going to be a new reality a little bit. But you have to be into it for the love of the culture, of the hair culture, I guess.
Why is Pony and Corinna a talent magnet? Like, what is it that makes people want to work for you guys? Why you have such a strong team and like some amazing educators and all of that? Like, how can that happen?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Corinna's lineage, she comes from this background of the Sassoon, but primarily Bumble, where, you know, a lot of the educators left that business and left education, and they're doing celebrities and they have agents and they are working behind the chair, but they kind of left education. I think all of them, what they have in common for on the education side is that they love educating, and they come here, we fly them out, we, you know, we have a great day rate, and they have a great 2 days here in Oakland, and they go back and they thank us. They say, you know, without Pony, like I not without, it's not like we're impacting their lives so much, but they're refreshed, right? They come back and they're rejuvenated because they got to tap in to the education muscle that they love. They love flexing, I think, you know. But you know, there's an integrated brand, like the education, the salons, the Pony, just even the logo that Corinna dreamed up. It's all one thing, and it's a positive story, and I think it's empowering and powerful. I mean, Corinna, you know, comes from nothing, right? She's a, you know, a woman leader. She's a brown woman leader. I think that inspires a lot of people. And, you know, I think it's my job to make sure to elevate the brand and to increase awareness and just let her do her thing, right?
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And I think you two as a couple is like such a match for that.
Some would disagree, but you know, for the sake of this call, let's go with it. Yeah.
But let's go into like your side of this, the like tech marketing and all of that. So maybe like, we didn't hear so much about your background as well. So what's your background, and how come you're you know, the marketing and tech guy here?
My foray into tech, I've been in the software world for a dozen years or so. Was as a marketer, I've gobbled up just about every bit of collateral one could along the way, mostly like demand gen and technical marketing. So we have applied some interesting tactics along the way that I could kind of touch on. I also worked for a company that kind of weaponized customer sentiment, so survey data, something called NPS, Net Promoter Score data, and this is relevant. So audience, like stay with me here. This is important. So let me dig into our automated review mechanism. It's a way to, you know, empower your clients to preach from the mountaintops about how much they love you, which, you know, that's when you create a promoter, is when they're willing to just talk about you for free, to generate referral bookings and to create reviews, right? So a secret of tech is a Net Promoter Score, an NPS score. Is one question. Like, how do you simplify this? The question is, on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely are you to refer a friend or colleague to our product or service? And anything 8, 9, or 10, maybe 9 or 10, I have to refresh, they become promoters. You know, anything down to a 4 is neutral, and below that, they're detractors. So you can segment those customers and have different sort of motions for each. Well, how do we salvage the detractors? How do we incentivize them to come back? Or maybe we just ignore them forever. Maybe we'll just keep them quiet, right? How do we elevate the neutral people into being promoters? There's different sort of things, and we don't do a ton of I guess graduating from one stage to another, but we do focus on our promoters, on how to amplify their message, for example. So we have a technology called Birdeye. There's Podium, I think, is a competitor, and there's all sorts of other, you know, chat bots and survey tools that will send a survey out to customers and ask them specifically that, like the same day of their appointment. So with Mangomint, there's a native integration. We created something with Zapier and other technology. So when a customer comes in, they'll check in, they'll get their service done, they'll check out. And we've worked with the fine people at Mangomint. Whenever that status of having checked out is appended or associated to a client record, then it's connected and integrated with our Birdeye tool, which sends out a text survey and an email survey too. So they get to elect what channel they'd like to participate in. And if they give us an 8, 9, or a 10, then we have the logic in place where we then say, here's a link to give us a review. We'll give you 15% off of a product. No one's ever used that discount because, again, it's just the science shows that these promoters, they're not interested in incentives. They're loyalists. They want to talk about you. So Mangomint and our representative, connected with our rep at Birdeye. Birdeye is our chat tool. Another little caveat is that we have a phone system, but you'll know that if you run a salon, it's disruptive. So we have, after one ring, Birdeye will pick up and they'll say, we're going to text you.
Yeah.
Or I think they said like, hey, you can leave a message. And then they text them and say like, hey, if you text us, our staff will receive, a chat notification, and then we can start communicating via chat. So what this allows is for our manager or front desk staff to have 10 minutes per hour that they schedule to maintain customer, communications rather than being interrupted all day long. Or we can say like, we're going to respond to it from the hours of 4 to 5. You can do whatever you want with that, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that Birdeye does. But back to the reviews, people get a link and they don't work with Yelp. I don't love Yelp. They're like the mafia a little bit. Like even customers on there, they think that they, we've been tried to, people are trying to blackmail us on there. It's kind of crazy. Okay. So you'll see a lot of Google. We do some Facebook stuff. And yeah, I think there's like 2,000 5-star reviews because we're proactive about asking the right people, what are your thoughts on Pony? And they volunteer and they say the nicest things. And then what I do, whenever I run payroll, another unpaid partner in a shed, running payroll, I aggregate those reviews too, and I post them in Slack. Slack's another tool that we use. We don't like texting people. Texting should be personal only, or memes, or really clever GIFs. Yeah. And so Slack is for work, and log into Slack. Please read your messages, but log in at your own peril, I guess. And then I post all the positive reviews, and maybe there's one maybe negative review. I won't post that, and we'll use that for in our next one-on-one meeting. If there's multiple maybe negative reviews about somebody, maybe then we'll take a step. Sometimes people are just cranky. So yeah, I'll post it, and it's a great morale boost internally for us to post all these reviews. And then I'm trying to get Birdeye to create a feature that automates like a social asset that posts in organic Instagram channels. They made one for Facebook. So we're close to being able to kind of like post stories with every 5-star review too, which I think, for salons it takes time to create the imagery, but if it's all automated, then it's really easy to do this. And if any of this was manual, it wouldn't be done. No one has time for this. But through Birdeye, and especially Mangomint, we're able to do this. And it does, I think, pay for itself, the investment in the tools that we have. I think customer sentiment is great. And if we did have a real marketing person, then we could, I think, weaponize quotes and rankings and ratings, even more. But it's ripe if we ever wanted to do more with it. So that's the secret to sort of review success in a peek into some of our tech stack.
And I mean, because
I love it. Yeah.
Honestly, this is huge. I'm just like looking at your Google profile right now, and you have 1,212 reviews. Probably 1,200 are 5-star. There's like just the odd one out that is not a 5-star. So is this because of how you're kind of like orchestrating this with the NPS, and how do you do that?
I would guess that 20% of those people would write reviews. I think maybe the percentage of 5-star to non-5-star reviews would be a little bit worse, but you can see there's only 12 not 5-star reviews. Like they didn't get my survey, right? I mean, they weren't qualified to be in that audience. But we'd still have a few hundred 5-stars. It wouldn't be as good, but no, this mechanism, this automation is absolutely the reason for our review success. And what clients are coming because of Google. We used to. I actually know that too. Another thing you can do is for custom booking forms when people are booking. If it's their first time, you're going to want to ask where they heard of Pony. The second time they come, you're not asking them those questions. You're interested in the original referral. And then you can start, if you invest in Yelp and you see that, this many clients come from Yelp, also you want to append the dollar amount of that client. You can start then looking at, I spent $600 on Yelp. It equated to 1,000 net new dollars that I would not have seen without that investment. Then it's an easy decision to invest in Yelp again. But you need, that's oversimplifying it. I think the math, I would need like a 3x ROI.
Yeah.
Like if I'm investing $300 in Yelp, I'm going to want to see $900, just way of commissions and everything else.
Yeah.
But we do know that Instagram is our second most, it's close to number one, but it's our second most. We do great on Instagram. And then referral, word of mouth. That's our number one. It's always been our number one revenue driver.
Yeah.
And Google may be part of that, but I think it's not the reviews, but the reviewers are also talking to their friends. They're posting their selfies, and word of mouth is going to be number one.
You touched on Mangomint there as well, and how you kind of integrate Mangomint. So I just want to like double click on Mangomint a bit as well, because that's actually how we got to know each other as well. Because you haven't been with Mangomint for that long, right? But yeah, what else do you think? What do you think about Mangomint? Is it a tool that you would recommend, and why would you recommend it?
Yeah, our stylists love it. It's weird to love software that you're mandated to use. They love it. We use it for booking and then day-to-day stuff. And we started in Square 2 lifetimes ago. We went to Boulevard, and the customer service is amazing. That's what I love as somebody who's been in the business. I kind of hold my tech vendors at a super high standard. So Mangomint, they build features super quickly, but my stylists love it, and it hasn't broken, right?
Yeah.
So don't break. Number one, don't break. Number two, allow like for colorists during the treatment times, allow clients to check in, allow for this, allow for that. The messaging, during COVID, we're not out of it yet, right? But you can have a client check in from their car, and then we'll tell them to come in, right? If they don't want to sit in the lobby. Like renters can have their own, POS that could feed into their own bank accounts. That's totally siloed from our financial operations. There's a lot of smart stuff, and then the ability to integrate. This is our Birdeye review automation is the tip of the iceberg, and one day I'll dig into more, perhaps.
Yeah. Okay. Love that. Thanks for sharing all of this with how you work with marketing and everything. I'm sure people watching this will go and do the same thing now. So another thing with Mangomint that I just so the customer churn is something that's important in my day job stuff. So it's when you lose a client. And what's the definition of churn for a stylist? Is it like 8 months no rebook, 6 months no rebook? It's maybe different for a colorist than a cutter, but you can create logic. And once a client is churned, then we can add them to an audience that we start retargeting on Facebook and Instagram channels. So they'll start seeing an ad like, has it been a while since you booked, right? We can automate an email that says that too. So there's a passive sort of advertising. It's like $5 a day budget. They'll still see it. And then there's email marketing tools that you can get really granular in, how you scrape, that revenue in an age where every dollar counts. Like we hate to lose a client just by being negligent in our communication strategy, right? They should see, a quick little note from us, say, oh yeah, it's been a while. Man, that's huge. Yeah, totally. And it's like really effective use of time and money to be that targeted. And
automate it all. Just set it and forget it. Yeah.
Whew, there's so much we could go into, but we don't have that much time. So if anyone watching this and is like, I would love to learn more about something here that we're talking about as well, make sure you leave that in the comments of the video, and then I can either reach out to Brett to see if I can get a response on that specific one, or we might do an upcoming video or something to answer.
Yeah, for better for worse, I'm stuck in this hair world, so I'm available. I'm available for anyone who needs me.
Yeah. Awesome. So we've talked about leadership, we've talked about marketing, about tech. We had something more as well that you mentioned. I believe
I think it's
actually.
Just continued education, ongoing education in the tech world. It's so important. Sometimes you get busy and overwhelmed. I'm just speaking for myself. Like,
No,
it's just important to
I can
stay.
relate. I can relate.
Yeah, yeah, right. Like you're a
Yeah.
marketer, right? And there's new stuff all the time. But I'll give this example. Corinna will watch a video that her friend and our educator Travis, he's in Manhattan, he's at Sweet Caroline. He does a ton of celebrity stuff. He's hilarious and brilliant and just really great at what he does. She'll watch a video that she co-educated with him, and she'll catch something that she's never caught before, right? So it gives her energy too. Like if you have time, then turn on our app and watch some. We have classes monthly where people fly in to get educated by Corinna, and then one of our guest educators, Amy Farid's coming. She's just brilliant. She was a razor cutter, but then just editorial stylist doing huge campaigns. So yeah, Amy Farid's coming. She's going to do, cuts on both days. And then we do hands-on education after that. And then, Brian Hickman is this Nashville cutter that's Insta famous and deservedly so, does a ton of work, is so polished about his approach to creating content. He's going to reveal all of his secrets. Like we have this just amazing calendar of events, and our staff comes to those, right? Our staff are invited to those. Some of them don't. I get it's burnout, right? Our internal education for our apprentices, Debbie leads it, and she's one of the talent that Corinna attracted, right? So we have education just all the time. It makes a difference. It's whenever you come to a pony education event, the hands-on stuff, you're able to learn techniques and be in an anonymous chamber where you can actually practice on this live model that we get, where you can suddenly do something that is not in your comfort zone. So then you could grow, you could mess their hair up, we'll fix it. They signed a waiver. Yeah. It's a free cut for them. It's all good. Yeah. And if you didn't have this outlet, then where else would you be able to elevate your craft, where you're doing techniques that you're not comfortable with, that you don't have the oversight of an expert, that you can, have a model that you could fuck up, right? So that's the hands-on component is so important. You don't want to get stuck. We talk about Howard McLaren is sort of like a pioneer of razor cutting. As an example, like what would happen if he made a shag, posted it, and got 1 billion likes? Would he have become who he became? So like people get pigeonholed, people get stuck. Oh, here's another shag. Yeah. Like you should learn everything. Some people say, I'll teach you how to curate your own clientele. Like you wouldn't want to be like, what we say is you should be able to do anything on anybody with confidence. Don't just be comfortable doing a mullet, right? And no shame to mullet or shag people, but the pony mantra is like confidence 360 degrees. And our staff has access to our app, which has like 200 hours and over 100 classes across the board. It's all grouped by, shag, mullet. We have those. We have like a start here or a basic sort of channel. Every month we have two live events. And yeah, our staff, they keep growing, and that's another reason for our success. But you'll see it over time. Like the successful folks are the ones who, are humble enough to keep taking education. And John, you got some grays in your hair, I see. I think
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So
getting more and more.
Yeah, for now, until I got a colorist I can refer you to. So yeah, I think as the grays come out, I think we're even more receptive to education. Like in my career, I think I pushed back a little bit on some of these oh, she's stuck again, on some of these trainings that we had to have, because I either thought I knew it all, I thought it was annoying, or maybe I was too scared to admit that I didn't know something. But now in my career, I'm like, yeah, give it to me. Yeah. I want to be the best. I love learning. Like I don't care what anyone thinks about me. So it takes that sort of attitude, I think, sometimes to get over the hump. There's a lot of educators out there that don't have, the expertise that they could have. So there's a lot of education out there. Make sure you know where your educators were educated, for how long, what they've done. Don't get enamored by the Instagram look. Like do some research, and you'll end up a pony. There you go.
Definitely. Yeah. And I was just over at ponyeducation.com for those watching this as well, and you have this like workshop photo library there, and like the work you're sharing is amazing. It's really something. So,
that's part of my unpaid internship, because we capture all these. We do like pro photography at these events. And do I have that? I put a link up there, huh? Oh, I do have. Yeah. That's a link to there's a ton of great stuff. So you're not just
a ton of great stuff. I encourage everyone to go check it out. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah.
All right. Great. I know you need to attend to your daughters as well. I'm just like super grateful for all the openness here, everything that you've shared with everyone. I think there's a ton of value in this. There's a lot of things that I'm sure people who's been following this conversation will do differently. But I think we need to wrap up so you can also go and attend to your girls.
Yeah, I owe them a table for a yard sale that they're independently hosting at my house. Yeah, so good stuff there.
So, but just before we close, like if people seeing this like want to learn more about pony education, the hairdresser education you're offering us on, like, or like learn more about you or Corinna, or like where do they go and what should they do?
Yeah. I mean, ponyeducation.com is the site. There's an app that we have, I think in the upper right of the site, it says the app. There's a free trial. Check it out. You know, if it resonates with you, then go for it. There's a lot of like long classes, but then there's some short haircuts too. So, you know, figure it out. And the subscribers keep our businesses afloat. So, hey, subscribe. Your whole salon should subscribe. Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm gonna let you go now. I start feeling bad keeping you away from your daughter. So it was really good hanging out with you as always.
Yeah, likewise, John.
So thanks a lot for that. And let's connect again soon.
Sounds good. See you later.
All right. Take care, Brett. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.